What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and Terence "Bud" Crawford with a record of 39 wins, no loss, no draw, 30 big wins by way of knockout. He is 35 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. He essentially wins undefeated Australian super welterweight, junior middleweight, superstar boxer in Australia, son of a legend Tszyu, son of a legend Tszyu, that being none other than Tszyu. Tszyu is now 22 wins, no loss, no draw, 16 wins by way of knockout. He is 28 years of age, 5'8" with a 72-inch arm reach. He took on and defeated former WBC super welterweight, junior middleweight world champion, superstar boxer Tony the Tiger Harrison. Okay, last night he got a 9th round knockout stoppage victory over Tony Harrison, and Tony Harrison was a replacement fight because Tszyu was initially supposed to fight the 3-time junior middleweight world champion, who's the undisputed junior middleweight world champion, top 5 pound-for-pound best fighter in the world, in Jermell Charlo, who has a record of 35 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 19 wins by way of knockout. He is 32, about to be 33 years of age, 6 feet tall with a 73.5-inch arm reach, right? Jermell Charlo, Tszyu is the mandatory challenger for the WBO, and Tszyu and Jermell Charlo was supposed to fight January 28th, but Jermell Charlo suffered a broken right hand. He had to be pulled from the fight, and instead of Tszyu just sitting idle and waiting for Jermell Charlo to come back around, Tszyu decided to take on the former forward Jermell Charlo, the guy that put the one blemish on his record, in Tony Harrison. Okay, now Jermell Charlo avenged that loss. He beat Tony Harrison. Now he came back immediately and beat Tony Harrison and regained his titles. Then he beat Brian Castano, Jason Rosario for undisputed. Okay, so with that said, Jermell Charlo was commentating. Tszyu stopped Tony Harrison, and when he stopped Tony Harrison, he started talking big talk, and he said the world should need to say my name. Jermell Charlo need to say my name, okay? And we know Terence Crawford, he has been going back and forth and have some heated words with Jermell Charlo, as he stated. He's going to go up after he beat Jermell Charlo's close friend and stablemate and undefeated unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Errol the True Spence Jr., who makes for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford. Now, Tszyu is the mandatory for Jermell Charlo, but Terence Crawford can make himself the mandatory, and Terence Crawford his biggest rival thus far is Errol Spence, and they need to make that fight happen. And we know Errol Spence and Jermell Charlo are very close friends, and they share the same trainer and well-renowned 2-time trainer of the year in Derrick James, right? So Terence Crawford been saying, since Jermell Charlo said to pick Errol Spence to beat him, he said that, since you got your pom-poms out, after I beat your boy, I'm coming up to fight you. So we know they've been going back and forth. And Jermell Charlo tells Terence Crawford, man, focus on the division and focus on Errol Spence because he a dog. So now, after Tszyu been doing all this talking last night, Terence Crawford, he laughed at Tszyu and he warns him, you're doing a lot of talking, right? You're talking cash stuff. You're going to have to fulfill that, right? You're going to have to show and prove. You're going to have to, live up to all of that talking that Tszyu is doing right now, telling Jermell Charlo and telling the world to say his name, say my name. Everybody know who I am now. I'm coming to America. I'm Jermell Charlo, can't hide, can't run. So essentially, Terence Crawford, like, man, you're gonna have to be able to back that up. And there's nothing special about Tszyu, right? When you watched Tszyu last night with Tony Harrison, it was a close fight, right? Tony Harrison's jab was controlling the fight a lot, but Tony Harrison game plan, he's very tall, 6'1" with a 77-inch arm reach, extremely long arms, great jab, technically sound, great movement, high ring IQ. And yesterday, he said this, though. In the press conference, Tony Harrison said, everybody expects one thing from me. We know what to expect from Tszyu, but he's going to be shocked from what he sees from me. Which was Tony Harrison deciding to stay on the ropes from the very beginning, stay flat-footed, not use a lot of movement, and just try to jab his way to victory in Australia. And that was a bad game plan. Even Jermell Charlo, who was commentating the fight, he said he was using a lot less movement than we're accustomed to seeing him using. He wasn't using any movement. So that was just simply his game plan. And, yet he was giving Tszyu problems, right? At one point in time, it was like the rounds was like 2-2, 3-3. Then Tszyu started countering Tony Harrison. His time and his speed, I think, surprised Tony Harrison, and a lot of people surprised me, his ability to counter Tony Harrison and have success. But Tony Harrison is known for fading in the second half of fights, and that's exactly what he did. He faded in the second half of this fight. Tony Harrison, is known for losing concentration like he did with Jermell Charlo. First fight, he beat Jermell Charlo. Second fight, Tony Harrison started playing. Some people thought he was up on the cards. He started playing and mocking Jermell Charlo, and then ended up getting knocked out as he was doing so, right? So he tends to have lapse in focus, lapse in stamina, and his chin deceives him, right? But nonetheless, Tszyu got the victory, right? I was impressed with his counter punch ability, his hand speed, but you could see holes in his game. And then when you saw him fight Terrell Gausha, he was dropped in that fight, and Terrell Gausha was giving him trouble. More importantly, when Tony Harrison, who's extremely long, tall, and rangy, was fighting Tszyu on the inside, he was having tons of success against Tszyu on the inside, right? That's Jermell Charlo's specialty. Jermell Charlo fights mid-range and in the inside. He's a dog in there, right? And Jermell Charlo has an extremely high ring IQ, and he could fight on the outside and use angles and use movement if he so chooses. So I personally, no slight to Tszyu, not disrespecting him or taking anything away from him, but I didn't see anything very special about him that says he's going to beat Jermell Charlo. I thought that Brian Castano, who Jermell Charlo fought twice, first time in a draw, second fight he stopped him and got the knockout victory. I thought Brian Castano brought more to the table, more versatility, more angles, more bells and whistles than Tszyu is going to bring. And so Terence Crawford is saying this dude's doing a lot of talking. He talking cash stuff. He going to have to back that up, right? He has similar size to Brian Castano. They're about the same size, right? Brian Castano and Tszyu, and he's aggressive with power. That's something that Jermell Charlo has seen before. So he's not going to bring something to the table that Jermell Charlo has not seen. He's not extremely fast, but, he showed me that he does have a high ring IQ. His ability to counter and answer Tony Harrison every time Tony Harrison did something big, I was impressed with that. The fact that every time Tony Harrison landed a right hand, he made sure he answered Tony Harrison right back. He didn't let Tony Harrison go without being answered, right? But again, like I said, Jermell Charlo represents a completely different challenge. And you look at Brian Castano, Argentinian fighter, was undefeated. He has, I would say, the same amount of power as Tszyu. They're about the same size. But Brian Castano's approach is more crafty, right? He's more crafty. He's more elusive on defense. Tszyu gets hit cleanly. He gets hit often. Doesn't show a lot of head movement, and so I think that Jermell Charlo is possibly going to stop Tszyu just same way he did Brian Castano. So Terence Crawford, he has obviously a high ring IQ. He knows the sport of boxing, and he's like, man, this dude talking cash money that he gonna have to cash that check. And I think that Jermell Charlo, once Jermell Charlo post fight, when he was asked about it by Brian Custer, he was like, man, sign me up ASAP. Sign me up ASAP. End of the summer, middle of the summer, sign me up ASAP. I need this fight. Because Jermell Charlo sees something in Tszyu that he can exploit. He don't see anything special about Tszyu, no special effects like Floyd Mayweather would say, And he knows that there's things that he can counter Tszyu with and beat Tszyu. So Terence Crawford essentially sending a warning, and you doing this dude talking a lot. He talking cash money. He gonna have to live up to that, because Jermell Charlo for sure is gonna bring it. I can't wait to see how it plays out, and it's coming to the States. You know, I got Jermell Charlo winning by a 10th round knockout victory. So let's see how that unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.